going to be able to get out of the door when I left my office.
Well, I know you got a sliding glass door somewhere there, so you can get outside. But I mean, it's just, I mean, watching Bella, like I said, I mean, transform herself and her business in every different market experience that has happened, you know, has been huge, because a lot of people got nervous when March rolled around and we were dealing with the coronavirus and how things shut down. And one of her avenues of revenue is dealing with dog sitting and pet sitters and taking care of pets. If everybody's at home, you kind of lose that business model. But I'm going to let you kind of talk about what you've done in the last 6 months, but it's amazing watching her transform herself into every market. And I think it's fair to say some have gone better than others, but you keep learning and you keep growing. So I will, at this point, let you take over and talk a little bit about yourself and your business.
Okay. Thanks, Brent. I got this. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Bella Vasta, and Brent gave you a little bit of a prelude here, but I want to tell you a couple of things before we even get going. One, I used to be in your exact same seat, and I'm not going to be another boring lecturer who's going to tell you what you should do and what you're doing bad and just throw up a presentation. I actually do not even have slides to do.
I'm going to stop you there, though. I don't bring in boring presenters.
Hey,
I only bring in exciting people.
I'm just saying I'm not. I'm saying, like, sit down, put on your camera if you're dressed. I don't want to see you naked. And I'm also going to be a little off the cuff, okay? So this is going to be fun, you guys. And I want you to take notes as you see them. I just threw my Instagram in there too. I want you to follow me if you're into that kind of thing. I'm kind of all over all the socials as Bella Vasta, okay? So you can find me everywhere. I love that all of you are just being real and telling me why you're here. So just to kind of recap, maybe someone's even driving around, I don't even know, to get your accounting degree. You guys are here to start up a business and what it takes, to hopefully become a successful business owner, to work towards a career in marketing, a major in economics, bachelor's degree in general business, better understanding of business, how they run and internal components, starting to own gym, Tyler says. Alexis, I took this class to better educate myself to how to own a business. Alyssa, to get a closer degree in sports business. Okay, so we got a little bit of a sports theme. That's awesome. Daniel, to find a job in business, so you can learn to run your, okay, so a lot of this stuff is Athena, Daniel, Keegan, everyone is how to run a business. Awesome. I know a lot about that, you guys. I'm going to tell you something though. In this day and age, no offense to your professor here, you can get everything, just about everything online. But you know what prevents people from doing that? Right here. It's our own mindset and our stinking thinking. So today I've kind of coordinated a whole kind of talk on leadership. And I see leadership 3 different ways. It's personal, interpersonal, and community. And I'm going to talk about that. Before I get into that though, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who I am so that you kind of actually know I know what I'm talking about. I moved to Arizona from Boston in 1998 against my will. It was almost like I was kidnapped. My dad said he got a new job and our whole family was moving from Boston, where I grew up with everyone since preschool. I was distraught. I was upset. It was hot here. And they moved me to Scottsdale, which my school was 5 years old at the time. My old school actually just got knocked down because it was so old in Boston. We had a 5-year-old school, perfume dispensers in the bathroom, and a girl crying next to me because she got the wrong color BMW. And I was like, oh, hell to the no. I could not even drive my dad's old beat up 12-year-old car at the time to school because he wouldn't let me drive it to school. So I had to take the bus or sneak into people's cars to get to and from school. So that's just an idea of how my parents were. They were really strict. I was the firstborn. They didn't want to make a mistake. I'm now a parent. I don't know if any of you guys are parents, but you can kind of understand a little bit, but they still went overboard. So they went so overboard that I started off at U of A. And then I had a situation where I had to move back to go to ASU, and I had to live with my parents. And they wanted to put a curfew on me. And so I'm a sophomore in school. By the way, I was a business major, and then I went to a communication major because I took college algebra 3 times and failed. 3 times, 3 different schools, just to make sure I failed at all the schools. And I ended up being a comm major because it was least amount of math, okay? I thought my dreams and aspirations for owning a business were crushed because I couldn't be a business major. No. So what happened is, while I was there with them, I actually got an opportunity to sleep over with 2 white dogs to my neighbor's house, and she was going to pay me $25. She actually left Daniel, thank you for your head nod. It makes me feel like you're listening. She was going to pay me $25 a night, and I was like, dude, I'll pay you. Like, I get to get out of my parents' house. I get to go karaokeing. I was karaokeing a lot. I could hang out with my boyfriend. My boyfriend definitely wasn't allowed to sleep over my house. And, you know, I had all this freedom. So my initial business venture was a means to get out of my parents' house, you guys. I had this whole pet sitting company in my early 20s. I graduated, and then my parents told me I needed to get a real job. Well, that real job was my company, and I was going to prove to them. My why back then was very different than my why. It's evolved. I'm going to show you guys that too. And then I'm going to show you what it took to do that. Because again, how to do business is the easy part. The why and the gumption, and when you get knocked down and told you can't, that's the part that's the tough part, okay? So when my parents said, you need to get health insurance, I said, okay, I'll work at Starbucks from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. every morning so I could work there part-time and get health insurance. Austin's nodding his head. Yeah, boy. So I was like, all right, cool. That's how bad I wanted it, you guys. I wanted this freedom. I actually tried to work for paychecks for 2 weeks. And after I went through their 2-month training program in 2 weeks, they wanted me to scan papers into their system because they were going paperless at the time. I was ready to jump off a bridge. I packed up my desk and I called them and I said, sorry, I can't work here anymore. At that moment, I realized I was unemployable. And I am, because I'm really hard to work with. I will tell you why you're doing it wrong, and I'll try to redo it and all kinds of things. I'm unemployable. And that's something I own. I'm not saying that out of pride or anything. I'm saying that out of, that's who I am and I own it, okay? And you may or may not feel that way yourself, and everyone's gonna be different. So I couldn't do that. I built up the business, and then came a time in my 20s, I lovingly say, and this is where, guys, this gets real. I don't hold back. I don't try to sugarcoat stuff. I dated almost everyone on Match.com over 6'2" in the Scottsdale area in my 20s. And while I was doing that, my whole goal for my business was to build it really amazing so that I could become a wife and a mom, which was going to be my best job ever. And I was going to sell my business, and I was going to maybe coach and consult while my baby was sleeping in a nap. No, didn't happen. So what happened is, so I was off doing my thing. One of the guys that I met and that I had a relationship with owned a bar in Jamaica. Cool, huh? And he's like, if this is gonna work, then you need to come to Jamaica and hang out with me there for 2 weeks, because this is part of my life. Well, at the time it was July in Arizona, and everyone goes away in Arizona, and a pet sitting company was really busy. So that inspired me to get my first worker. That's why I got my first worker, guys. Everything that's happened in my life, I've said yes to. I'll say it's organically, but I would challenge you to think about saying yes to things, because you can say yes just as easily as you can say no. You can walk in that door just as easily as you can pivot around and walk right back out. But you don't know until you walk through that door. So I did that. Oh my God, I messed up tons of times. But I corrected and continued, and I learned. And I learned that my first hire, which was an independent contractor, wasn't exactly what I wanted, because I'm a control freak. I wanted it done the way I want. And when you hire it out, you actually hire them to do it the way they want. So long story short, I ended up with employees. I did meet at the time the man of my dreams, and we got married when I was 32. He was on Match.com. He was a citizen, although he is originally from Macedonia. It's a tiny country just above Greece. And we got married here and we got married there. And we had a lovely, princess wedding, the whole 9 yards. Came home from our honeymoon, found out we were pregnant. Great, that was part of my plan. Yay, go me. Well, 6 months later, I had one of the world's smallest micro preemie babies, where her leg fit through my wedding ring. This isn't my wedding ring because I've since had a divorce, but it's a ring nonetheless. She was 10 inches. She was like this. I had to wait 3 weeks to hold her, and we did kangaroo care when it's skin to skin. But during the 6 months we were fighting for her life in NICU, I was running a pet sitting company, a 6-figure pet sitting company in North Scottsdale with 10 employees. And I was also building a consulting company where I was helping other pet sitters and dog walkers scale their business. How in that did I not lose both of those companies? When you're fighting for your daughter's life, getting woken up in the middle of the night, going through constant medical trauma, how do you stay strong? How do you get through it? How do you not only survive, but thrive? I'm going to teach you everything that I learned through that and more today. I got your attention? Yeah, you're all looking up. I like it. Okay, so the story ends up happy. Right now, I'm going to cut to the end of that chase. She is now a 6-year-old, just started actually going back to physical school. She wears glasses. She's a gifted child who has a little bit of developmental delays when it comes to fine motor. But other than that, she's amazing. We didn't get any vents or trachs or G-tubes, but we worked really hard on that, you guys. And some might say that our marriage suffered for that, but I truly believe we were brought in for her. It's this grateful attitude and this positivity that I choose to have that helps keep me going in life and not kill me and be like, oh my gosh, my marriage failed. Oh my gosh, my child isn't perfect. Oh my gosh, my business isn't where I want it to be. Oh my gosh, it's a pandemic. I can't launch another company. You know, all this stuff. So I'm gonna, any of you guys go to CCV by chance? Because you might have already heard this part that I'm gonna tell you. Austin, you might have heard this 2 weeks ago. All right, Hayden, okay. So if you know the answer, shh. But I thought this was so powerful and it's around leadership that I wanna ask you guys this question because right now they're actually doing a whole series on leadership. That's my home church. And so I want you to think that someone that you love was kidnapped. They're kidnapped and you got a ransom. A ransom you can't pay. So they say, okay, we're not gonna pay the ransom, but we're gonna chop off one of their fingers. You get to pick which finger. I want you to write down right now, which finger are they gonna do? The pinky, the ring finger, the middle finger, the index finger, or the thumb? Which finger can you live without? Write it down. Don't keep looking at me. I want to see you write it down. I'll wait. No, don't put it on the chat. Don't put it. No,
I don't know if they've got pen and paper.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if you don't have pen and paper, then okay. Thanks, Brent. Yeah, you're right. Then write it on your notepad in your thing. I'm sorry. You're right. You're totally right. I mean, okay. I want you to have it in your head. Okay. At the end, I'm going to tell you what the right answer is. And your answer might change throughout this. So leadership, guys, leadership is everything to do with what's in your heart and what's in your mind. And whether you realize it or not, you control all of that. And we are all leaders, every single one of you. You're either leading for good or bad or nothing, which is even worse than bad. I don't know. You're leading someone for something. Everyone's watching you, whether it's your siblings, whether it's your parents, whether it's your neighbors, your friends. I don't care who, whether it's people right here, right now saying, oh, well, everyone else is on camera right now, so I should get on camera because I don't want to be left out. I mean, you are always shining your light. It's up to you how bright or how dim it is, okay? And something else as a side note for anyone going through any relationship stuff, something that you'll see on my Instagram that I really live by, is that the right people in your life will never have to wear sunglasses for how bright you are. I want you to remember that, you guys, okay? Because when you feel like you're not good enough, you're too this, you're too that, you're not enough this, you're not enough that, the right people will never have to wear sunglasses to dim your light, okay? So let's start talking about the personal side of things, okay? You kind of have an overview of what I've gone through here, but I want you to think about, if you don't know already, what is your vision? Where are you going? Where are you going in your life personally? I'm not talking professionally and you want to build a business or open up a gym. Who are you personally? Like, what is your legacy? What do you want to make? What do you want to do in this world? And it just so happens that opening a business is your catalyst for doing that. Your why might change. I didn't have anyone asking me this when I was out going to Jamaica and dating on Match.com. I was building this for a very selfish reason, to prove my parents wrong. That didn't last me too long, you guys. That was an ego-driven thing, okay? I'll show you. I want you to do this deep soul searching because you'll be years ahead than I ever was if you just remember that part, okay? So the voices in your head, they're never going away, but we have to learn how to deal with them. And we have to learn what room in the house are we going to let them reside in. Are they going to reside in our bedroom or our kitchen where we spend most of our time? Or are we going to put them in the upstairs attic where we only go up when we need something? Okay? We all have the voices in our head, and it is up to you to figure out where to put them. Now, it's not just as easy. Shout out to Austin's dog in the background. It's not just as easy to figure out, like, hey, I'm just going to put him in the attic and it's that easy. You have to be completely and always flooding your mind, guys. If you're going to be in business, if you're going to build something, if you're going to be a leader, you have to lead everybody through your own actions and through how you talk and how you are and how you make people feel. Not necessarily what you say, but how you feel, how you make them feel. Hopefully, it's my goal that when you guys all leave here, your heart's going to change somehow. Anytime I talk to anyone, whether it's a small group like this or thousands of people in an audience, my goal is to make it like church. You're not the same way you came in. There's something that tweaked in your heart. There's one thing I said that's going to stay with you, because otherwise I didn't do my job. I take this so seriously, especially as a student who used to be right in your shoes. Well, I wish I was in your shoes. I had to actually go into a lecture hall after parking at lot 59 in ASU and walking 20 minutes in 110 degrees. So you guys are so lucky. But I digress. Okay, so the voices in your head is number one. Boundaries. I'll be quite honest. I'm learning this right now. I'm doing a lot of self-development on boundaries right now because I didn't learn boundaries growing up. I'm an empath. I like to give everything I possibly can to the people that I love in my life, sometimes sacrificing my own stuff. And I'll tell you, I coach a lot of people, you guys, who do this in their business. Your business will be a mirror to what's broken inside of you, just like relationships are. Your business, if you feel like you're a hostage to it, right? Or it's overwhelming you, or you're buried by it, or your clients are always wanting something from you, typically it goes back to boundaries. And typically what you emulate in your business is something interpersonally that you need to work on. And boundaries aren't always like a, whoa, stay there. You know, it can come from a respectful way, but it's something that you need to work on. And I'm saying that because this is mine, and I will always be open and honest and very raw and transparent about the exact stage that I'm through, because I don't have all the answers, but I have this willingness and this desire and this excitement to figure it out constantly. I like to be, this isn't even on my notes, but this is something else, you guys, that you're going to need to know in business. And this is something my daughter taught me. When we were in NICU and all these other babies that were being born, my friends and stuff, and they were going through all these milestones. Oh, my baby crawled. Like, great. My baby didn't crawl until she was 1.5 years old because she was on tubes and everything, right? Or scoot. And the thing is what Olivia, my daughter, taught me is that the only person you can compare yourself is to yourself. Are you better than you were last week, last month, last year? And it's the same thing with business, because a lot of times you will end up comparing yourself, your first chapter of your business to, like, let's see, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. Who else do you guys look up to? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you aren't there yet. If you're going to compare yourself to their first chapter. We don't know what that is anymore, right? So only compare yourself to yourself. You have to start being in competition with yourself. That is so hugely important. Write it down, type it out, send us air signal, something. Don't forget that, okay? Because if you start comparing yourself to other people as you're building your business, you will fail. You're not like anybody else, nor are they like you. Okay, podcasts. I want you guys to really think about, Daniel, I love your nonverbal participation, man. You rock. Brent, give him some extra credit. Austin too.
We'll see what we can do.
I love it. I love the feedback, you guys. So podcasts or audiobooks. Guys, if you hand me a book, I will never read it. Although, if you want to read a book, you can read my book. This is my book, The 4 Types of Dogs Every Business Needs. Okay. I can tell you about that later. I'm not going to do all that. But most of the time, I have to listen to books. Okay. I'm auditory. And that's usually when I'm walking, when I'm cooking dinner, when I'm driving, when I'm folding laundry. God, I hate folding laundry. I have to be on the phone or listening to something to fold laundry, or it'll never get folded. Levi understands me. Yep. So So you guys, I want you to think about, where do you have the opportunity to feed and grow your brain in your life? Is it on the bus? Is it walking to class? Is it, there's so many different parts of our life. A lot of times people say you don't have the time. If you don't have the time or you're too busy, there's no such thing as that. You have to replace that with, it's not a priority. So if personal development is a priority for you, it could be 5 minutes while you're putting your makeup on in the day, guys. Ladies, sometimes that's all I get. I was listening to my Motivate app. It's a black background with an M on it, a gold M, and it's called Motivate. And they send you 5 videos every morning that equal 30 minutes. So if you're like a 30-minute walker in the morning, this is perfect. But you get to pick your topic, and it sends it to you. It's just a great, easy, passive way to be feeding your brain, because you're gonna need this to survive this. There is a reason why most small businesses don't pass 5 years. It's because of this. It's not because learning how to sell widgets is hard, or understanding profit margin or profit and loss statements is hard. There's no secret to it. The thing that people don't talk about is this right here. Okay? All right, I could keep going, but I'm gonna stop there. The other thing, consider how much TV you watch, or how much endless scrolling you watch. The new iPhone update was really interesting, because it tells you, hi Nanette, thanks for joining. It tells us how many times we actually pick up our phone every day, and what apps and what notifications were the most. Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's really, really interesting. And you're like, oh, I'm really spending that much time on this. Okay? Being aware of where you're spending your time, because where you're spending your time is what's influencing your mind. Woo! Can someone make me a graphic on that? Where you're spending your time is what's influencing your mind. This is how I come up with stuff. Isn't that fun? I don't know. That's fun for me. Okay, Brent, remind me of that one, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and all of this too is going to affect your spirit, guys. There is a sense, there is one level of spirituality, whether, no matter what kind of religion you are, or universe, or anything you are, we are all still like beings. We all have a soul, okay? I think we can all at least agree on that very minute level. And all of these different influences that come in make imprints on us. They all do something to us, whether it's good or bad. And it's time, and the business owners that are successful are the ones that aren't passive about it. Aren't the ones that are mindlessly watching ABC News 15 at night, or are aimlessly scrolling on Facebook and not training their feed. You guys, right now, Facebook is a shit show. Can I say that, Brent? Is that okay?
I think you did.
That's why I like TikTok. Any TikTokers out there? I love TikTok. TikTok's fun. TikTok's happy. But Facebook, but you guys, on your Facebook feed, I mean, if you don't have to get off of Facebook, and that's like the extreme people are going to, but what you can do is you can hide, snooze, or unfollow things. And the logarithm will actually change to be, yes, your own, like, callback button there. But, you can train your news feed, but it's better than seeing a bunch of stuff that just makes you feel gross. Pay attention to the way that you feel. Pay attention to where it is in your body when it's going through. I know this sounds so woo-woo, but it's something that a lot of us aren't really that into. And the last thing about the personal part, guys, is who are the 5 most closest people in your life? You guys might have heard this before, but I'm curious, and you don't have to tell me. I just want you to consider, who are the 5 most influential people in your life right now? 5. That might be hard. Some of you might be like, well, there's only 1 or 2. Dude, we're in quarantine, lockdown, or kind of, or we're so separated. But who are the 5 people that most influence your life? And maybe they're not even someone you know personally. Maybe it's someone you follow online. Maybe, and is it a positive influence, or is it a negative influence? We'd like to think of the positive people, but I want you to think about the people that are constantly in your mind, either growing it or polluting it. I want you to bring this to the conscience, because you're not gonna have the time, or the why, or the strength to get up when you're knocked down the 99 times in growing a business. This is what it's gonna take to grow a business. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm yelling at you right now, but I'm just really passionate about this, and I'm used to a big stage.
You just turn down the volume every so often if you get too
Okay, good. Yeah, turn my volume down. All right, So to kind of recap, your personal, you have to figure out what's your vision. Like, where do you want to go and why? Don't make it about trying to prove your parents wrong. Make it about something bigger than that, okay? Don't make it about the ego. The voices in your head, who are they? Do you allow them to take up space all day long? Or do you acknowledge them and say, go back to the attic, bye. I'll visit you when I need you. I'll call you, you don't call me. Podcasts or audiobooks, like what are you filling your mind full? Are you just mindlessly listening to the radio, which sometimes you just need to dance? And if you're like me, I have a convertible and I like to sing and dance, and I'm that girl that you're laughing at a stoplight, but that's okay because I like that. I actually just got a karaoke mic from my car too. That'll be on my Instagram, so you'll have to, I really did. It's a James Coden karaoke mic that goes into my Blue speakers. Yes, I'm that girl. I'm not telling you have to do that, but what I'm saying is are you passively listening to music that subliminally is telling you about how down life is and how your heart breaks and you have a horrible relationship and I'm not good enough and oh, boo-hoo? Like, have you listened to the lyrics? Because your subconscious is. Have you listened to the messages that you're listening? Is it news or is it a recap of all the shootings and carjackings and kidnaps that have happened in the world? Okay, take a notice of that. Your spirit, check in with your spirit. How's this making me feel? It's okay a couple times a day to just be, how's this making me feel? You know, this isn't really serving me. This isn't making me feel better. So I'm going to kind of step away from it. And this also means people in your life, taking an inventory of the people that you let influence you. If I kept people around in my life that were boo-hooing and saying that things can't happen, or, oh, it's just another day, or, oh, another Monday. Thank God it's Friday. Oh, I couldn't do what I do, guys. That's the simple answer. That's the simple answer. All right, let's talk interpersonal. Y'all hanging out with each other, your relationships, your one-on-one relationships. How do you make big decisions in your life? Positive ones or negative ones? You have a breakup, who do you run to? You want to buy a car? Who do you talk about it with? You want to launch a business? Who do you talk about it with? Who do you allow in this coveted position right next to you to influence your mind and your heart? Because they're doing it negative or positively. And you see how it bridges really easily from personal into interpersonal, those 5 people? You have to take an inventory of your life, because those 5 people, I would argue, are more important than the first few employees that you will ever hire to build your business. Hold your word. Are you a person of your word, or are you non-committal? Oh, well, maybe next week I'll do that. Yeah, okay, call me that day. Oh, you need that? Okay, yeah, on Wednesday, let's touch base Wednesday morning. Are you putting it off because you really have to put it off? Or are you putting it off because you're not committing to it? Daniel needs me for something on Wednesday. Okay, Daniel, yeah, sure, no problem. What, Wednesday? Yeah, what time? So I can put it in my calendar. You hear the difference between that? Dude, I'm gonna be there for you because you can trust me, you can rely on me. It's none of this back and forth stuff. Brent asked me 2 months ago to come talk to you guys. I said, hell yeah, what date? And they followed it up with send me a calendar invite, because if it ain't on my calendar, I'm not here. I live and die by that. And that's how you're able to track and confidently say to people, yes, I can show up for you, or no, I can't. Because if you show up for other people, you guys, they're going to show up for you. It's you're planting that seed. They're growing. You're helping them germinate. Guess what? You also get part of that back to you. You become reliable. In your interpersonal relationships, are you light or are you dark? Are you pouring in other people, or are you the downer? Are you that person that you walk away from that sometimes, and I'm always conscious of this, it doesn't mean that you can't have problems, guys, but it means that you talk with people in your life as, here's the situation I have, and here's 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 ways that I'm thinking about solving it. What do you think? That's the difference between boo-hoo, my life sucks, and boo-hoo, I'm not sure how to do this. Can you help me sort this out? Those 2 mindsets are completely different. Now, I'm not talking about when you're sitting around having a beer with your dudes or wine with your girls. Sometimes you just need a little bit to bitch and moan about stuff, because that's what I do, okay? Sometimes. But you have to be cognizant of at what point are you really trying to solve something? Are you venting or are you fixing? And what is that ratio? Are you just always venting and you're never into fixing? Then don't get into business. Just don't. Change your major, go work for somebody else. Don't do it, because you won't survive. Not everyone is cut out for business. Only the strong-minded are. All right.
And to
Ask
take
for help.
two seconds on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a powerful thing as far as saying, how do I come up with the solutions, and here's my problems. It's also the same way when you're talking to people. If I see something and I think you're doing wrong, or you see something I'm doing wrong, it's so easy, and so many people say, God, you're doing that wrong. And they don't offer, like, wouldn't it be great if you tried to do this?
Yeah,
And
being a supportive friend.
yeah, and that's the important thing, because you get stuck in the business world and with like leadership opportunities where people find it so easy to critique you, but no one gives you the, hey, it could work this way. And that's
100%.
that, and it might be something on your notes for later, but I think it ties into what you're saying. For yourself, you've got to look for solutions, but if you're the person critiquing others, you got to present solutions. You can't just present problems.
Yep. Nanette, are they videos or audio? I think the podcast she's talking about are videos. Which one specifically? I'm talking
You were
about
talking about those Motivate ones.
Motivate is an app. Motivate is an app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the App Store. Brent, I love that you brought that up, because I have a real life example from last night. So we just launched a whole bunch of Facebook ads for this new business that we launched during a pandemic. It's video training series for pet sitters and dog walkers to use for their new employees. And one person goes, oh, they're only a minute long. And I was like, oh, why the sad face? Was it not long enough? Like, what could we do to be better? And me, the brand on it, just replied back to her like, I don't want you to feel that way. Like, why do you feel misled? How can we fix that? So again, it's coming at it with solutions. Like, okay, you can sit there and bitch and moan, but as a leader, I'm going to come back at you and I'm going to try to pull it out of you a little bit more, and not just delete your comment because it doesn't play into my narrative. Yeah. You know, which actually can help you. All right. So family support and friend support. I don't know where all of you are at, and I'm not even going to try to pretend I know, but I'm going to say that not all family is great. And friends are sometimes the best family because they're the ones that we get to make, right? And that's something that personally I've desired a long time in my life. I don't have all my extended families back in Boston. And until recently, I wasn't able to start building that tribe. And it was very lonely. I'm an extrovert. I get filled up by doing things like this and being with people. I want you to consider, you know, if you don't have that support system, that it's only going to be up to you to build it. And again, if you learn how to do that interpersonally and in your personal life, you're also going to be able to do that and have that skill when it comes to business. And I'm talking business networking. I'm talking about going out to dinner with a bunch of business owners that you can just get together and talk shop and stuff. That's actually how Brent and I met long time ago back at Networking Phoenix. It's through that, being able to reach out and ask for help. You have to be able to put the ego aside and say, I need help. But then you have to be able to have that, either the resources to go to, or the safety net, or the circle of friends or business people to go ask for help. Because no business has ever been built on their own. None of it. And so we got to get a hold of our interpersonal leadership skills to get outside of ourselves enough to realize that we have to encourage and nurture the relationships that are the closest to us, so that we can get that support when we need it. Because it's being an entrepreneur, you guys, or business owner, is the loneliest job in the world, because it all starts and stops with you. You have to have a vision. You have to be the leader. Does this make sense? Okay. And empathy. You have to grow some empathy too. But figuring out how other people are feeling, putting your own stuff aside for a minute, putting yourself in their shoes, kind of like that example I just gave you, like, oh, why do you feel let down? I just spent $800 trying to get this landing page up and cut these clips and get our Facebook ad copy written. And it was 3 weeks for me to put this up here, and you give me an unhappy face? What? That's it? Girl, don't you know how hard I worked? No, it doesn't matter how hard I worked. I missed the mark for this one chick. So I want to find out how, and then I want to put that up against my own litmus test and see if it actually has validity or not. Is she just some troll? Does she even have a pet sitting company? Is she? Yeah. Sometimes, girl, it's crazy the people that will comment on stuff. I'm like, dude, you don't even have a company. Bye, girl. Bye, Felicia. Delete. But if you actually have a company, okay, maybe I'll actually consider what you're saying. Maybe, shocker, I might even DM you or call you up. Well, I'd ask to call you because it's just rude to call people these days, right? I would reach out somehow personally in a way that would surprise and delight her, because I'm going to take ownership over this. And regardless of if I choose to use her opinion or not, I'm at least choosing to hear her out. Okay? All right, community. Get involved with something that's bigger than you. In the business world, a lot of this is like SCORE or some sort of a charity, or networkingphoenix.com. We all have access to Gelly. I'm sure has Gelly come in and presented, Brent?
She has not.
Oh, okay. Well, check out networkingphoenix.com. Gelly's the bomb. She's like the biggest connector here in Phoenix. In your neighborhood, just simply in your neighborhood or your online community, what kind of groups are you a part of? Where can you actually pour into? Where can you, a lot of you guys I saw said fitness or building a business. Is there some sort of an online community where you can like literally, show up, be authentic, ask someone to mentor you, see what they're doing. Maybe they'll meet with you for just 1 hour a month and just talk with you and say like, can you just tell me what you learned this month? I just want to know what you learned. That's it. It will be so eye-opening to you and exciting, and you'll be miles ahead. I never did that. I would have been miles ahead. I wouldn't have had to learn these mistakes on my own. What impact are you also leaving on this world? I want to know. I know Daniel's leaving an impact by nodding, and Levi and I'm going to say this wrong, Kahil?
Just go with Hill. He's got 7 different mute buttons on his microphone, so it takes a while.
All right. Oh,
it's Kahil. You had it right. You had it right. Yeah, you had it right.
So yeah. So I can never spell or sound things out. I blame it on the fact that I'm from Boston and we always dropped our R's and our vowels were always different. But yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love this. This is great, you guys. And so together you can make everyone strong. And this could be something as simple as maybe you guys are all in the same like entrepreneurial journey. Maybe you guys find something, you're like, hey, Brent, like I found this really cool thing and I just want to share it with the class. I think everybody might benefit from this. Don't be afraid to pass it on. Don't be afraid to like share the wealth and the knowledge, because guess what? When someone knows that you're giving and that you're actively thinking of them, there's a thing called the reciprocity rule. See, I can't say that word either, but you know what I mean. And it's when I give you something, you feel indebted to me, or like you feel like, like she's on the top of my mind now. It could be something as small as a 50-cent Diet Coke while you're buying a car in a car lot. That's why they do that. But it's I give you something, you give me something. It's just part of bonding, okay? Something that I did for my community. Here's another story that I kind of tell a lot. Going back to the being the girl. Now, I got the fake eyelashes on for you guys today. I've got a podcast interview right after you. So I got the hair and makeup and everything done. I don't always look like this. So, but what I used to do when I was going to NICU, when I was trying to still stay connected with all the pet sitters that I had in a group back in 2014, before groups were cool, okay? They weren't even that cool back then. I would get on my phone and I'd put on my makeup and think, okay, what can I do right now? And I didn't have the Motivate app either. I was the Motivate app. And I was like, okay, the clouds are out today. That's weird. We're in Arizona. And I'm like, okay. So I know it's good in Arizona, but it could be really sad. It could be really down and out. But, oh wait, you know what? The sun is always behind the clouds. The clouds could come, but the sun's still shining. It's a matter of perspective and knowing that it's still there. So there was this one light that was always like 3 minutes long going to the NICU every morning. And so at the stoplight, I would get out my phone and I would record a quick video. And I would think about what that video was while I was getting ready. And it had nothing to do with building your pet sitting company, but it was me showing up for my community. Inadvertently, really, the message was really for me. It was to remind me. And that's often what you'll find that you'll teach a lot on, is not the stuff that you've conquered, but the stuff you're going through. Like I just told you guys about boundaries. I'm working through that right now. Okay, so I'll sit there and I'll take, and then when I got to NICU and I'm in the parking lot, before I get out of the car, I'd pop it in my group. And it was a way that I was able to stay connected with people, and not only connected, but at that moment, at that time, not only was I so connected with my faith, not necessarily because of that, for other reasons, but I also was so connected to my community, because during the hardest time of my life, which they knew about, I was still showing up for them. So when someone's showing up for you, when you know that they're getting their ass kicked, you're gonna have a lot more respect and admiration for them as a leader and someone you wanna follow into the trenches, because they showed you who they are during the hardest times of their life. So I wanna say, like, when you're going through stuff, how are you showing up? When you're going through stuff, I have this thing inside of me, and I know everyone's different, but when I go through stuff, I think, shoot, I'm not going through this just for me. Eventually, I'm gonna be able to take this message out someplace. If we become Facebook friends, you can friend me on Facebook. There's a picture of me with the beach in the background. That beach is from 1 month ago. Someone asked me 2 months ago, hey, you wanna go scuba diving? I go, I don't know how to scuba dive, I'm not certified. It's okay, we can get you certified. Anyone here a scuba diver? Austin, yes, no? Okay, nobody, okay. Guys, oh my God, it's amazing. So it didn't take that long. I went to Phoenix Scuba, who, if any of you are interested, I can totally hook you up. And I got certified, and we went to Cozumel for 7 days. Now, my ex-husband was, actually, I didn't even tell him I was going to Cozumel. Oops. And I had to get like nannies for my daughter for a couple days. I had to take off of work. I always had ear infections and earaches when I was a kid. Brent, are we okay on time? Do we go to the top of the hour?
You are doing great. We go till 11:15. So.
Oh, sweet. Okay. You guys having fun? Is this good? Is this like filling you up? Okay, good. All right. So I went to an ENT because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to blow my eardrums. And it hurt going down. And what I didn't realize is that it was all in my head. And so I went to Cozumel. I did 15 dives. We did 2 dives a day, roughly. And my first dive only lasted a half hour. I dropped the weights, which means when you drop weights, guys, that's not a good thing. It means you start floating up to the top. The weight is on the bottom, and your ears start popping, pop, 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 and you're just trying so hard to get back down and not go up. And I went up, and I was crying, and I was like, shit, and I was like, sorry. And I was, all these voices in my head, like my parents going, why are you doing that? It's during hurricane season. You're crazy. I'm scared that you shouldn't do that. Everyone saying everything came in my head at that moment. And I was so disappointed in myself. But guys, I had to slow that roll, and it took a lot of years of slowing down those voices in my head and saying, get back up in the attic. I didn't ask for you to come down here right now. I didn't ask for all this stinking thinking. It was the difference between me changing this to, why is this happening to me, to what can this teach me? I had my dive instructor with me, because there was like a group of 8 of us, and then like the dive instructor goes with you. I had such a hard time getting down and equalizing my ears. The whole group, everyone goes down, and then you start going. They had to wait for me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, they're waiting for me, and I'm holding it up, and I'm messing up their thing, and like all these things in my head. Guys, if you friend me on my Facebook page, you'll read some of these stories and you'll see some of these videos. I encourage you to do it if you're an open person like that. But I went from that, I have to try to really not to get excited about this story. I'm gonna just skip to the end. To the end, 15 dives after practicing over and over and over again. One time I actually ran out of, well, I didn't run out of air, but I was getting low on air. So I had to like every tank has 2 regulators on it, so you can have like 2 breathers off of one tank. And so I had to breathe up on someone else's tank because I was like running out of air. I puked over the side of a boat 7 times. And one time I went back to the marina, laying on the boat, laying down while everyone else is like up and around, because I was in such pain with my ears. And I worked through that, and I realized I was coming up too fast for my body. Everyone else was coming up at their own time or whatever. I needed that extra couple minutes. And if you haven't seen me yet, I don't do anything slow in my life. I'm like, woo! And that was the thing, guys. I had to learn to slow myself down. By the end of it, I lasted 1 hour and 2 minutes under the water. My buoyancy, when you scuba dive, you should be at about a 20-degree angle. I was maintaining the 20-degree angle. My hands were folded underneath me. My legs were crossed in the back like a mermaid. And it was the most zened out spiritual experience of my life. So much so that when I go away next week with my friends who don't scuba dive, I'm taking the morning and going out on a boat and go scuba diving. I booked another trip because it's something that I could do. It's so much that I learned. I had to be uncomfortable. I had to work through problems. I had to show myself that I could do it. And it was way outside of the realm of business, which is something also as an entrepreneur you're gonna need to do, because you need those moments of, yeah, I did it. You need it. If you don't, and if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, if you're not willing to fail, do not continue trying to open a business. If you are not willing to control the voices in your head and outside your head and around you, do not continue to do a business. The how to do a business is very easy. Your why and your mindset are the 2 hardest things that no one can really teach you. They can influence you. I can share my story like I did today, but you, my friend, have to be the leader over that. Now, the other thing, couple more things. Oh my God, my computer's yelling at me. Gratitude. Gratitude is something right now. I want you guys all to start typing in the comments right now. I want to know, Nanette, I'll answer that definitely. I want to know one thing that you're grateful about for 2020. Because here's the other thing, guys. The businesses that are making it through 2020 right now are the ones that are grateful, the ones that are seeing opportunity, the ones that are determined not to let 2020 happen to them, and 2020 is happening for them. They're the ones that have seen COVID cover, as I call it, as a chance to never, ever again will we ever get the gift of time in our business. Everyone's always like, I don't have enough time, and it's on my to-do list, and my to-do list has a to-do list, and da, 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 da. Like, no, guys. Like, COVID, if you haven't gotten your together at the end of COVID, then you're not going to be in business. And I have so many businesses that are killing it right now. They were decimated to like 15, 20%, because like Brent said, they are the pet sitting businesses that were taking care of pets while people traveled, or while people were away at work, they were walking their dog. And if you follow any of the stuff that I do or you read it, you're going to see me say it over and over again. The problem that pet sitters have had has changed now. They need to start talking about get in your car and go to a local trip. Or if you're in an area like Arizona, go to Mexico. Or if you're working from home, you don't need your dog walked in the middle of the day now. You're right. You need him walked in the morning so he doesn't interrupt this Zoom call right now. You need him tired out in the morning. The problems have changed, and you have to be able to change as a business leader. You have to understand, you have to have that vision. You have to be a couple steps ahead, guys. And that only happens by getting out of your own head and building a community and taking ownership and leadership over it and surrounding yourself with people like that. Now, the gratitude thing, no matter what happens to you, how can you be grateful about it? What is the silver lining? That will make all the difference in the world. What can you learn from it? Because you will fail 99 out of 100 times with your business. You have to be a positive person. Again, if you're not, get out. Get out. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you can do it. You can't do it. If you don't think you can do it, there's no amount of words I can say to you that's going to make you do it. Grateful I've gained so much freedom and able to create memories and take many opportunities. Absolutely, Hayden. Jaden, it's definitely something, Nanette, not business related, but my kids are getting along so much better than ever. Nanette, yes, girl, that's amazing. Everyone in your life is healthy. Yes, Kylie. All right, political. The current administration helping small businesses versus the possibility of the new administration. I don't think that the administration can help or hurt. The businesses that were doing it right, that understood their profit margin, that had a business savings are fine. The ones that understand that they have to pivot, that they have a strong connection to their vision and their why, they're fine. It's not what the news is telling you, guys. It's not. Maybe restaurants, okay? Maybe restaurants, because those literally have been shut down and not opened back up. But if you're like a small business that just hasn't pivoted, I know gyms that have started, okay, fine, you're gonna shut me down, we're gonna do it outside. Yeah, that's a little hard in Arizona in the summer, but like, it's all about the pivots. Okay, then we're gonna go to an online subscription where we're gonna, you know, work it through with you. There's so many different things that you can do. I think it's stinking thinking when we think that the administrations are going to be in charge of our success or demise, okay?
Yeah.
My business has grown, whether it's been a Republican or a Democrat. It's because of me and the people that I keep around me, okay? All right, as we close, because I do have to go in 6 minutes.
I want to ask you two things before you give your big close. Just
okay,
things you brought up.
Yeah.
And just to kind of expound on it, you talked about them looking for mentors, looking for people. And I mean, you're a great example because your business is consulting, which means you get paid to help people. But have you ever, in the history of being a business owner, being a person, if someone's reached out to you that's a college student, someone started their business and saying, hey, I just want to run a couple of things by you. I'd really, and I know Gelly hates this thing, I'd really like to sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk to you, you know, pick your brain a little bit.
I do it all the time with ASU kids because I present ASU as well. Yeah, any one of you guys, but I encourage you not to don't be in a brainstorming way. You got to come, when you're going to ask someone for their time, don't ever use the words pick your brain. Sorry on your uptake. If you're going to come to someone, come prepared. Be like, hey, I was thinking about this. What are your ideas on that as it relates to what my mission or my thing is? Like, come prepared. Don't come to just shoot the shit, okay?
Right. And then the other question I want to ask, you talked about your givingness, and it's an awesome thing. And you talked about the reciprocity and that you usually get back. But the thing that I think is so neat about good leaders and people like you, and I think you inferred it, just didn't say it, you're giving to give. You're not giving to get. You never give expecting something back.
You know what? Oddly enough, this makes me so excited. This feeds my soul. So I might not monetarily get anything. I might not get notoriety for it, or I might not, oh, I forgot to put you on my Instagram. Everybody smile. I might not get anything necessarily for it. But it fills my soul. And that makes me excited today. I could have been totally depressed and overwhelmed, which, well, I was overwhelmed before I got on with you guys because I'm switching project managers right now. I've got some stuff going on, but this makes me so happy because I'm in my zone of genius. Like this is my purpose in life, and you get to allow me to live my purpose right now. I can't fake this. This is all from the heart. Can I tell them the answer of the fingers? Or do you have another question?
No, I just was going to also blame you for my addiction to cake pops because you were talking about your daughter and all that.
Oh, yeah. Go on. Yeah, share that story. That's cool.
I mean, there was just, and Bella talks about all the things she shared when she was going through all the NICU stuff. And I don't remember the first post you made, but I was flipping through my Facebook the other day, and there's probably 7 or 8 pictures of me holding up a cake pop saying, I'm thinking of you, and, you know, I hope everything's well. And that was part of her messaging and her sharing her story with people. And it was a neat thing. It was like,
so you guys, it goes off the whole gratitude thing. So we didn't know that my daughter was going to survive. Like they literally like, well, here's your daughter. She's breathing, but she might die. So what we did is we literally celebrated her birthday every Monday because she was born on a Monday. And so I made Monday Cake Pop Monday. And so I'd go to Starbucks. First of all, I'd go get 20 of them for all the NICU nurses, but we'd also get a cake pop and we'd go, oh, and it would be like hashtag Cake Pop Monday, hashtag Warrior Princess. And yeah, it comes up on our memories all the time because I was determined to find the gratitude in that hell time of my life. I was determined to shine my light and give people hope when I was going through the roughest thing. Now, everyone's not like me, and that's okay. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but that's how I did it. That's how I did it. Okay, really quick, you guys. How many of you, show of hands if you're on camera, how many of you picked the pinky? Okay. Hayden, I love your usage of the thumbs up. How many picked the ring finger? How many picked the middle finger? And guys, if you don't have to necessarily come on camera, but make sure you can see me when I tell you my answer. How many of you picked the index finger? And how many people have you picked, or how many of you picked the thumb?
Need the thumb.
Yeah. Well, the thumb is actually the one that you can take off.
What?
Because the thumb works with every single one. Every one of these can work. The thumb can work with I'm not explaining this correctly. The thumb can be taken off because all of these fingers, you need them for different things. The thumb is just independent of itself. I'm not explaining this properly. Shoot.
The thumb
This is the first time I've ever done this. But no, it literally is the thumb. Like, you've asked hand surgeons and everything. And it's because the thumb is the leader of all of it, but it's not a leader without all four of these.
Huh.
Does that make sense? Like, you don't, like the middle finger can't lead. The middle finger can't touch the pinky and do something. The ring finger can't, like, just take a spot for the thumb. It's the thumb that can be taken together, because this might be the leader, but together these things can do everything. Because it's not about the leader. Does it make sense? Oh God, this just blew up in my face.
That's so,
Logan, go.
That's very interesting that you can go off the thumb, but personally for me, it's like one of my hobbies is playing video games. So like if I cut my thumb off, how am I supposed to do? Like, I'm sorry, but I can never imagine myself cutting off my own thumb. Like I feel like a pinky or something else would be a better choice. So
no problem. Brent, I'm gonna find the because I didn't land that the way I should land it, and sometimes you don't. So I'm gonna get like the proper answer for that, and I'm gonna send it to you, and you can send it to everybody, because
Yeah, I'll share it out.
But it floored me so much that I will never forget it, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. Sometimes you guys, you fail as a leader. See?
No, it still works either way, thumb or no thumb. I'll give you 2 thumbs up though, since I still have them.
Thank you. That was good. You guys, thank you so much. Please feel free to reach out to me. I do not bite hard. And if you want to hang out or, do a virtual Zoom like this, I'm totally down to do that for like 20 minutes with any of you. Just come prepared, okay? I'm not, I don't have the mindset for something like that to like brainstorm. But if you want to, like, if you're seriously considering something, I'd love to weigh in on it. Thanks for showing up and being on camera, guys.
That's awesome. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Bella.
Brent.
And have a good day, and I'll shoot you a link to the video.
Oh, cool.
So you can have this also.
Okay.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, she is a energetic one. I warned you guys on Tuesday. I said she's not going to disappoint. She kept me quiet for an hour, so that there's not many people that can do that. So, but the leadership skills, the traits that Bella talked about so much are what we talked about on Tuesday, and applying those skills to your life and how you do that and how you view leaders versus managers. I think a lot of what she said was super, inspirational kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna, drown out her thing. I'm gonna leave you guys on that fun session, and unless you have any questions, I'm gonna let you just kind of ride off into the sunset, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Does anyone have any questions? And I will definitely, hold on one second. I will definitely post this YouTube video so you guys can watch this again if you want to.
Okay, you answered my question, so yeah.
All right, any other questions? And Ned, be safe. You better not be driving while you're watching this. Just sit in the car. I don't want to hear police sirens in the background. Be careful. All right. You guys have a good day. I will see y'all on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
All right.
All right, see you all next week.